there is. If a doctor wants to prescribe me Adderall, I'm going to tell him to go fuck himself because it's happened before.
Right.
And do our sponsors let us swear like that?
Yeah.
And it's happened before. But, then again, I've seen guys where people in the program said, oh, you can't take psych meds. And the next thing you know, they're trying to jump off of buildings.
Right.
I mean, we're not doctors. I'm not a doctor.
I've had multiple hearing voices in their head, can't take the drugs because my sponsor said so. What, are you kidding? Is this a trick question?
I don't get that. Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah.
All right, what about testosterone?
Voices.
Is that a relapse? By meeting standards.
Oh. It shouldn't be.
You would think.
But I don't know, guys. Although that would be a great move, the guy walk into a meeting going, I'm on this dose of testosterone.
Right.
Friggin' the guy will be treated like a merry-go-round by all the women.
As he should be.
In fact, I might try and do that. Yeah, I mean, Cialis and Viagra, those are not relapses.
But based on the hardcore finite of NA and CA, but of NA and CA, you're chemically altering your body's genetics to give you a result.
Well, then so is cholesterol medicine.
Oh, yeah. Look, by all definitions. Look, if you're going to play it that close to the line that I can't have a tiramisu because it was made by soaking, lady fingers.
Oh, yeah, fuck that.
Right.
Give me two.
Oh, you're drinking O'Doul's. You're going down that slope.
Oh,
what?
Fuck that too.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't suggest drinking O'Doul's, but then again, I never liked beer.
Right.
I mean, I never drank beer for the taste. I drank beer for the effect, and if I was drinking for the effect, I'd go after a Guinness.
There you go.
But then again, if they made non-alcoholic Stoli, I'd probably be drinking it by the truckload.
That's an interesting concept. I don't know how much of a market there is for that. I still can't even figure
out why there's a market.
I
don't know, but I invented all those flavors at one time or another, and I never got credit for it.
I'm not even sure why there's non-alcoholic beer. I can't really even figure that out.
Yeah. Well, there is. There's that ginger beer, right?
Oh, no. There's a lot of non-alcoholic beer. Look, I just had a non-alcoholic beer the other day that was a legit 0.0.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it was just hops and barley? Yeah, well, basically, some people, I know people from Wisconsin love beer because they're from Milwaukee. That's all Milwaukee's famous for is beer. I mean, how much cheese can you eat?
Yeah, right. Well, you're going to be constipated after eating that much cheese.
I get that. I get that. I think there'd be more of a market for non-alcoholic tequila.
So going back to the topic, I would want a sponsor who would go, yeah, it's bullshit that you drink non-alcoholic beer. Whether or not it's actual, I'd want that out of my sponsor.
Right.
I would want my sponsor to go, hey, you're eating too much cheese. Why are you addicted to cheese? What's that about? Why are you overeating? What's the thing with the grease? Why so many cheeseburgers? Why, you're going to, or I'll give you an easy one, which is a real thing. I think you're going to jiu-jitsu too much. It's too much for your body. Why are you going so frequently? I can't believe that it's about training at that point when you're going that excessively, which I've done because I'm an addictive personality, right? On some level, I like the level of pain. I'm trying to get addicted
to the gym. I can't.
There are people, though, that do. They want the endorphin rush.
I know. I can't find it anymore. I don't get there.
Look, I can't do. That's why I'm talking about T replacement and
chest pains kick in.
Yeah, I can't. I would love to do jiu-jitsu more frequently and compete, but my testosterone level and probably my body genetics at this point don't allow me to compete like a 20-year-old. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, but as long as you're not competing against 20-year-olds, I mean, don't they have like a 50 class?
Yeah, I've competed against guys my own age, and they're just look, I can't speak ill of these.
You took too much time on the bench is what happened.
No. I compete against guys my own age. And I compete at a very high level against guys my own age. But I'm telling you,
a couple decades off.
I only take about, I have this 3 to 5 year cycle for training that hard, which is really weird.
Okay.
So you're talking 2007 for boxing, 2009, I think is the cage fight, And now here I am. I'm at least 2 going on my 3rd year in jiu-jitsu and competing. So there is a weird gap, but the reason I bring it up, I'm competing against guys that I know are genetically modified. I know they are. There's no way. Like, okay, maybe 1 or 2 guys that I compete against, you should be a little doughier than this, dude. You just should be.
Right.
You are paying money to have somebody give you the ability to compete at an upper level.
Right.
Fortunately, I just happen to be in a sport that isn't dictated by size and strength and endurance. Jiu-jitsu is unique. It's based more on technique. If you got blistering technique, you can get away with it.
Right.
Yeah. But that's a whole different, that's the thing. I mean, I get frustrated with that constantly. We only have 4 guys in my age group training at my gym. And I'm the baby at 50.
Yeah.
But there are 4
guys. I
want
an over 50 bodybuilding competition, and you know me, I'm 40 pounds overweight.
Genetically modified.
There ain't a rip bone in my body, but nobody else showed up.
Everybody's genetically modified. Everybody's cheating the system. We're the only ones who seem to track that shit.
Well, is it a push-up that I mean, doesn't that really cheat the system?
I don't know.
You're not using your God-given body or your God-given talent.
Right. And that's the concept behind being sober, though, isn't it? I'm not using my God-given brain and the way I feel and the way my mechanics work.
Well, I use my God-given brain.
I realize that, but if you are a chemical mess, you're not creating enough serotonin. Aren't you genetically modifying yourself to give yourself a fair chance at being sober?
I've never thought of it that way.
It's all relative.
I mean, I never heard anybody that died of an overdose of serotonin.
Probably not, but a lack
can it happen?
But I can tell you this for sure. But
I mean, what's the side effect? Happiness?
Maybe. But you and I both know countless people who've died from a lack of serotonin.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you don't know what the word serotonin means, you probably should go see your doctor, or you got sober in a fucking alley. I don't even... Like, the word serotonin and being sober seem to be synonymous these days.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a treatment term.
It's slightly beyond a treatment term.
Well, if you haven't been to treatment, you're probably not going to know what serotonin is unless you graduated college.
I'm still saying you're genetically modifying a human being. And when that occurs, based on the precepts of CA and NA specifically, A doesn't seem to give a shit. Do whatever you want as long as you don't drink. What I find hilarious are people who live by the don't do anything precept. You know, like pick a lane. That's all I'm saying. Just pick a lane. If you're going to be all one way, then be all one way. If you're going to tell me that food that had like a white wine and butter sauce for Italian food, if you eat Italian food, the statistical probability that you have consumed wine in some form is remarkably high. Isn't that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. Based on AA, does that not constitute a relapse?
Not my AA, but I understand what you're saying.
Wait, let's go a step further. However, the same person who hands out that advice is also cheating on his wife and sponsoring 20 people in the room.
Well, that's just a hypocrite.
Right. How many hypocrites are there in a room on any given night?
Everybody in there.
Okay. And you want me to try to find one person who's going to call me on my bullshit. You're trying. Look, I use this episode as a reason to try to find a sponsor. Still, my friends seem to be a better option at this point.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, even my sponsor, when I'd ask him about a situation, he'd be like, listen, you're going to do what you're going to do, but if I were you, I would do this.
And here's the really fucked up part for anybody listening to this. If you question any of this shit like me, you are going to get shit on. Holy crap, you're going to get shit on.
Oh, yeah.
If I brought this shit up at a meeting, you know how many people would shit on me and my 25 years for bringing this shit up?
Right.
That's the remarkable part. The hypocrisy knows no end. Look, I want a sponsor that would call me on my shit. That's the point. That's the freebie of the program.
Right.
Right.
Right, but that's the defined relationship. Your sponsor's allowed to be a little hypocritical. But, me, I don't want a sponsor. They tell you when you're new, find someone that has what you want. I don't want to find a sponsor that has what I want. I want to find a sponsor that has what he wants.
Right. I can tell you specifically when I was...
And it's hard to do.
It took me 18 months to get with a sponsor where I was like, I got to have what this dude has. He gets it.
Right.
He's young enough. He gets it. He's got more time in front of me. Like, I need what he's got going. He's got program working on some level. He's kind of thumbing his nose to the whole process, and it's about dealing with life. I'm just telling you that relationship changed because we were close in age and we became friends. And that altered everything.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard. I guarantee this.
But I get to switching it up. I mean, if I was switching it up, I would have probably one of 8 or 9 people to go to right now.
I would safely say I have 2, even though I haven't been to a meeting in God knows years at this point.
Ugh.
Years?
You gotta be nuts. It's crazy.
What am I gonna learn at a meeting?
Sometimes it's not what you're going to learn.
I realize it's giving back to the newcomer, and look, I'd probably be the best person in the room because I understand all the shit you need to understand at this point in sobriety. And I'm still mentally living all of it. But outside of my 2 close friends, you being one and my friend James being the other, look, I'll tell you guys shit and how I exactly feel. Like, It's still shocking to James how real I'll get with him.
Yeah.
He called me on one of my activities recently. He's like, why are you doing it? I said, it's a scream for attention. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I call me on my own shit better. I just have to say it out loud so somebody else hears it.
Right.
And that's what a sponsor should be. But once you cross over into the friend zone...
Yeah, see, and that's the whole thing, too. It's like, I'm not looking for a friend. I think I'm looking for guidance, which would mean a father figure, and I didn't know what really one of those was up until I got sober. And yeah, and I know the guy that I have now is in his 70s. It's another 2 years, 3 years, hopefully 20 years, I'll be doing the same thing. But I'm a realist. It's going to be
I'll be a realist
door.
For everybody. I'll still be sober in 20 years. I will be.
Well, if I'm alive, I hope I am too. But
I don't even need like that. Why do you got to hold on to hope? I did my first year because I was pissed off at everybody telling me I was going to relapse based on my attitude.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Now I stay sober on the concept of, you're going to go out. At some point, you're just going to go out because you don't go to meetings, you don't stay connected. I'm more connected than most of you dipshits, and I actually understand it now.
Dipshits.
They are dipshits. People, look, most people...
Why would people
and I know this
us
sounds really shitty,
dipshits?
But most people who go to a meeting are
talking
dipshits.
about non-alcoholic Stoli.
We're dipshits, too.
Yeah,
look,
right.
You want me to keep it 100? We're
dipshits,
too. I think anybody listening to a podcast about sobriety is a dipshit.
Right.
Okay, look. Yeah. You're listening to this because you just want something alternative to the this is the narrative, this is the
No,
this is the company
I
line.
think you're wrong. I think people
Have you listened to actual podcasts about
they
sobriety?
Get it. They feel the same way and they don't know what to do because the program's bigger than them.
Nobody talks real. Oh, the fronting is so unreal. Okay.
Right.
The point of this episode was to get past all that bullshit and share a message of hope at the end of this. If you are struggling, I am telling you this, you need a sponsor. And I firmly believe that how long you keep them is your own business. And
how many you have is your own business.
Correct. Look, I've had an LA sponsor. I had a Vegas sponsor. I had all sorts of different things in the early days because of the way I traveled. So here's my first question.
No female sponsors?
Never had a female sponsor.
I did for a couple of days, but it got way weird, way fast.
Yeah, way fast.
Yeah, way
It
fast.
doesn't even take me